Good evening, Fernwood. It is your cheap and chippy chopper, Neil, and it's time for us to take some time to process another episode of Mary Hartman, Mary Hartman. We're watching episode 304 today from June 2nd, 1977. Yesterday left me with some unsettled feelings, so let's take a look back. Mary was surprised by her daughter Heather, who came out looking neat, in the way that Mary means not so slobby. Heather tells Mary that she has a date, and Mary gets really excited and sets down rules for how they should engage. And Heather makes Mary leave into the living room before welcoming in her date, Dennis Foley. Dennis asks Heather why he asked her over as Mary peeks in, and Heather goes to block the door. Mary sneaks back into the kitchen to get something and is surprised to see her former lover. Dennis makes clear that he did not accept a date with Heather, and then Mary asks Heather to go into the living room, and Dennis greets Mary with a kiss and tells her that he will talk to Heather. Dennis sits Heather down and gives her some straight talk, and Heather says that she really appreciates that Dennis didn't talk to her like a little kid. Then she gives him a hug as Tom walks in, and Tom wants nothing to do with it. Then over at the Jeters, Merle is still jealous that Wanda is getting attention from the Republican Party and tells his mother Adeline that he's feeling spiteful because he doesn't want to ride his wife's coattails into the White House. Adeline tells Wanda that Merle has been selfish since he was a little child because he was jealous of his brother Mickey Mo's nose. And Merle tells the two ladies to stop that topic of conversation when they get a knock on the door, and it is Mickey Mo himself. Adeline greets Mickey Mo with a hug, and the estranged brother gives Merle a greeting, but Merle doesn't feel like welcoming him. Out in the woods, Charlie and Loretta Haggers are preparing to send JD out into nature. Loretta is having a lot of trouble letting go, but Charlie believes that this is the right thing to do for their boy. Charlie wants Loretta to give it time, but the emotions are too hard for Loretta to handle. Eventually, young Johnny Doe finds a spot to nap, and then they are approached by a wolf. JD steps between the Haggers and the wolf, and it seems like they are communicating, with JD approaching and making friends with the wolf. And Charlie thinks that this means that JD is in the right spot, and Loretta thinks that this is letting go of a kid, except that most kids usually will call back from college. Then over at the Hartmans, Tom is preparing a kitchen makeover as Wanda shows up with some signs that say that Merle Jeter will not run for president in 1980. Tom finds that thought a bit silly and then explains that he is redecorating the kitchen to reach out to Mary in some way to make her life better. Wanda expounds on what it means for a husband and wife to have each other. Tom gets really turned on and starts nibbling all over the mayor's wife. Tom pulls himself together, and Wanda puts him back on the charge of redecorating the kitchen, and Tom is left with some things to think about. Everyone, there are so many different layers to the emotions that I am feeling lately, so let's just do it.
Mary Hartman! Mary Hartman!
All right, now, sweet Chuck, just hold that light real steady.
Oh, I'm sorry, George, but I haven't been able to stop shivering since they shut off the heat and electricity this morning. This is the coldest spring we have had in 35 years.
Oh, to hell with it, honey. I'll tell you what, if I get this thing patched up, we'll be in Paris by springtime. Now, I want you to hold that real steady. Damn! That big Buffalo Max Slattery mashing my gun. Damn the cold. Damn the sneezing.
Oh, I'm sorry, George.
Goodbye.
Where are you going?
Well, we can't live here. It's too cold.
Well, we can't stay in bed all the time.
We're checking in at the Biowee Motel until you stop messing around with that crazy invention and go back to work.
Oh, Grandpa, it won't be the same around here without you.
Well, it's not the same here anyway. There used to be some heat in this house. Goodbye, Martha. Come on, Bobby.
Goodbye, Martha. Goodbye, George. I hope you strike it rich.
Oh, now listen, Martha, listen now. Everything is going to be all right. We still have the family unit. It's just you and me and Kathy against the world. What are you doing?
Well, it's about time that I stand on my own 2 feet and fend for myself.
But where will you live, dear?
Well, I'm going to go back to Howie's apartment. The rent is paid up there till the end of the month.
Oh, but sweet little overbite. This is your castle.
No, Daddy. This is your castle. I've got to learn to stop depending on people. They only let me down. That's a lesson I've learned.
Oh, but listen, things are going to work out. Look, when I get this patched up, we're going to be on Easy Street. I can see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Oh, I guess my batteries went dead. What's gonna happen next?
Daddy, they're repossessing the car.
Oh, no!
Look, Daddy, things are bad enough without me around here. And, look, if it gets any worse, which I doubt that it will, you guys can come and stay with me. Goodbye, Daddy. Goodbye, Mommy.
Oh. George, do you think we should form a suicide pact?
Well, maybe. But only this, as a last resort.
Honey, get yourself ready. Loretta, Lonell, Bowers, Parmenter, McCandless, Haggers, what in the world are you doing?
Charlie, just no, wait, hold the phone before you yell at me or nothing. I want to tell you that I was just giving the boy a teensy little recess from the survival training. That's all. It's nothing big.
How? By feeding him up on junk food and sitting him down in front of the Mickey Mouse Club or something? And give me that. Just give me that, would you please? Here. Come on, boy, put that down. Now, put that down. That's not your food. Setting them on cushions and everything.
Charlie, it was not Mickey Mouse, it was Animal Kingdom.
Loretta, you're just about to undo in a half an hour all the days and days and days of work of uncivilizing that boy that we've been doing. That boy, honey, has to get ready to go back to Bigfoot.
I mean, I love this boy just like he was my own flesh and blood, you know what? I mean, I love every mat in his hair and every little bug bite on his body, and I just can't help it. I can't help it.
Honey, it hurts me too. Don't you think it doesn't hurt me too? But it's got to be, sweetheart. It's just got to be. I mean, you just got to accept it and forget about it, sweetheart. And let's think about things that we can do something about, like, for instance, Tom and Mary. Our dearest friends, and their marriage is just crumbling away like an old house under a wrecker's ball.
His name is Sergeant Foley.
Right.
I don't understand, Charlie, how a man of the law could take another man's wife. I mean, it's a crime or something, isn't it?
Of course it is. Sure it is. That's just exactly why I have invited Sergeant Dennis Foley to come here and let us give him a little talking to right now.
Are you serious?
I'm serious. Right this minute, he's coming. Any minute, there he is now.
Oh, gosh, just a minute.
Now, don't-
Okay, honey,
Just don't worry about it, honey.
I'll be back. Gosh.
Hi.
Hi, Charlie.
Come on in.
How are you?
Sit down.
Come on in.
How you doing, fella?
Gosh, Charlie, I don't know. I mean, how are we going to approach the subject with him? I mean, it's kind of embarrassing. I don't even know. I mean, it's awkward, you know. Well, sir. So, told me you're playing around with Mary Hartman.
I'm not playing.
Oh.
See, Tom and Mary, they're our oldest, our dearest, our best friends.
Mm-hmm. Sure enough.
We wouldn't want to see anybody get hurt.
Nope.
Neither would I.
That's good. Good. See, really, what I think, probably Charlie's trying to say, and correct me if I'm wrong, huh, is that, we wouldn't want to see anybody kind of, let me just, for instance, like if this was a straight and narrow path, we wouldn't want to see anybody kind of stray off to the side, just kind of get sidetracked off that straight and narrow.
I love Mary.
You do? Sorry, hon, don't you see, you've got to understand that she's married. She is married, and she's married to Tom.
Tom and Mary aren't happy. Now, that's not saying anything against Tom. What do you mean they're not happy? I mean, look what they share. They share a home, a daughter, a little girl, a car, bills, everything that a marriage should have. Except communication. All right. So they don't have one thing.
Well, I really think the point here is that Mary's place is right beside her lawful wedded husband, whether it makes her miserable or not.
I don't believe that, Loretta. I don't believe that people should be stifled even in the name of love. Thank you for the talk. See, you two are about the best example of a marriage I've seen in Fernwood. But think about Mary. Doesn't she deserve the same? Keep your nose cold. Bye-bye.
Bye.
We've been slickered. That fella, he's a slicker talker than Merle Jeter ever thought of being.
I can't believe it, Charlie. I really can't. I mean, here we are, about to lose our child to Bigfoot. And Tom's about to lose Mary to some man of the law who could charm a snake out of a basket. I mean, sometimes well, I hate to say it, but it just seems like the Lord ain't watching down over us at all.
I'll tell you something, Tiny. Parenthood don't come or go easy. Getting rid of Johnny Doe, that's tearing me up, man. I don't think Tarzan felt any worse giving up Cheetah. Every time you turn around, seems like either love or money has got you.
We sure got George Shumway right between the eyes.
What are you talking about?
Oh, I forgot. I promised not to gab about the $50 he got from me.
Oh, Lord, you too. That sucker, I just lent him $100 yesterday. I thought I was the only one.
Boy, he must really be on the skids.
Hey, Al. How you doing? Fellas, Tiny, Charlie, how you doing?
Hey, Merle.
Merle. Let me just have a martini, I guess. Hold on.
Hey, Merle.
Yo.
I've been watching you on TV.
Oh, yeah.
I heard you deny that you was running for the presidency.
Yeah. Yeah, I tell you, fellas, actually, I come over here to take a little breather from political affairs, okay?
You know, I can't understand is how come George Shumway's quitting his job? That's what bothers me. What did he quit his job for?
George, quit his what?
It's okay, Merle. It is okay. We both lent him money, too.
Heck, the guy's in deep trouble, I guess. Well, who's he going to turn to if not his friends?
It's a good thing we helped him out.
Good thing I kept this TV set for collateral.
How you doing?
Hi, Charlie. Mr. Mayor, your office told me I might find you here.
Yeah,
These
how you
need your
doing?
signature.
Right. Okay. Give me a pen. You sure get around, don't you, son?
When you serve the people, you're on the job all the time, as you know.
You got it.
I know.
Yeah, I don't do it.
Thank you. See you.
Yeah.
All right, Tom.
Take it easy.
Joey likes?
Hey, Tom. Hey, don't be a stranger, huh?
I see Dennis Foley's no stranger to you guys. What the hell were you talking about, huh? My marriage, my wife? What were you talking about?
Come on. We're talking about your father-in-law, as a matter of fact. Evidently, quit his job. He's in debt up to about his ears.
George quit his job? Are you kidding? Wonder who the hell's after him now? Who's after him, I wonder, huh?
Isn't that something?
Yeah.
I mean, this is supposed to be the land of opportunity, right?
Yeah.
And there is this town's #1 opportunist, and he's sinking lower and lower in the mud.
Hey.
Miguel, wine for my men. On me. Hello, Prime Minister.
Hey, George, hold everything. What are you, crazy? First you take your money, then you quit your job, and now you come waltzing in here looking like the Godfather.
What's going on, George?
Yeah, what's going on with my money?
Hey, I don't mean that's nothing. That's just that crazy bug gun he's been tinkering with all week long, right?
I remember you said that, Tom. The fact is, friends and neighbors, I have found a buyer who is going to come to the Capri Lounge tomorrow night for a demonstration. And after that, I shall get a check for $1 million.
George, you've been playing around with that pesticide stuff too long, man. You are starting to sound buggy.
Go ahead, laugh all you want. I'm just going to laugh all the way to the bank. Now you guys can come with me, because you're all going to be stockholders in the Bug Massacre Corporation.
Stockholders?
Wait a minute, George. I thought that money was for loan.
Oh, Merle, this is better than a loan. Don't you realize that I'm going to put you guys on easy street? I mean easy street.
I'm gonna get you, you wife stealer backers.
Take it easy here. Mac, just
Wait, wait.
Hey,
Now listen here, you hee-haw brain.
I don't have the time. There's a trophy there.
Al, lay one of these on me, okay? Come on, I got him.
Listen here, Slattery. Don't cross my path. I swear to God, you'll be picking teeth right out of your work shirt.
George, come on. What did he say? I don't know. Come on, take it.
Al, give me another Diet Pepsi, will you?
Let go of my arm.
Let me have it.
Let go of my arm.
Another martini.
Hold my arm.
Oh, Tom.
You like it? Huh?
Oh, Tom. Oh, you've rented this whole room just for us? Are you sure it isn't my birthday?
No, it's just something I'd like to do every once in a while, you know.
But you've never done it before.
Oh, Mary, come on. Will you? I mean, I don't want to have to go down the list.
See, what Dennis Foley did was to rent parents, but this is just so much more interesting in a different kind of way.
You mean those weren't Foley's real parents?
No, they were actors. And good, too.
You mean Dennis Foley has Foley parents?
Now, Tom, don't laugh.
What? Okay, I'm sorry. It's just... Hey, we won't get any arguments, okay? Tonight, just for you and me, just to enjoy ourselves, okay? Huh? You and me.
Dinner for the lovely people.
Yeah, here, come on now. Sit down, honey, right here. There you go.
Thank you.
Nice and comfy, huh? I'll just go right over here.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, champagne, huh?
Oh, excuse me, sir, but you're bruising the lettuce. I'm awfully sorry. Can I have the, please, no, would you hold these, please? I'll just show you something. Is that all right? Okay, this is just a little trick that my mother showed me. Okay, just a little trick here. Okay, here you go like that. Here's for some for him. Go like this. Okay. Here's some here, and now. Care to join us?
Mary, you don't do that.
Oh, forget it. Okay. This is really, lovely. It's just lovely, and it's just excellent service.
Thank you. You know, I think married people, should get out. I mean, it's been ages since you and I have been out, I mean, I just think it's important for us to get out and have some fun.
Yeah, fun, yeah. This is fun.
Yeah.
This is delicious. Really? Just delicious. Tom, is he going to be standing there the whole time?
Just in case we want anything, yeah. Hey, a toast. I love you, Mary. I really love you.
I love you, Tom. And, I'm so sorry. I never meant to hurt you, and, I never will again. Dinner, or is he a la carte?
I hired him to serenade us.
Boy, this must be costing you an awful lot, huh?
Yeah, but, hey, it's worth it.
No. Just a little strange getting used to, Maybe I should put a little leftover salad on the plate on the floor for them.
No, Mary, no. Maybe you'd like the radio one. Maybe you'd like that better, huh?
Oh, that might be better. And you might like that better, too, the radio.
Would that be all right? Yeah. Here, that's fine. Thank you very much. Thank you, yeah.
Thank you. You're wonderful,
Yeah, it was really lovely.
Just so lovely. Thank you.
Yeah. Would you mind? Would you turn on the radio when you leave? Thank you very much. Thank you.
Excuse me, but it's okay. I really think that you could go now. I think I can serve this and clean it up. So you could go. It's okay, isn't it, Tom?
Yeah, okay. Here. Here. There you go. Thank you.
Thank you
very much. Yeah, that was very nice. Very nice. Yeah, very good.
Very good.
Thank you.
Very good.
Mary, come on, Mary, come on. Come on, you're doing everything. You know that, don't you? You're cooking, you're serving, and you're cleaning up. I mean, hell, if we wanted to do that, we could have stayed at home. What's the point of going out at all? We could have saved ourselves a lot of money.
It was a nice thought.
Thanks, Mary.
The feeling I got overall in this episode is that Fernwood is now stewing, right? Like the ingredients in this pot are starting to take on each other's flavors. We start with the bug gun, which apparently is going to be paid off tomorrow. George has really taken the Shumway household to the brink. We have Martha, who is just shivering and sneezing because the heat's been turned off, and Grandpa Larkin and Barbie, I haven't seen her in a little while, they are moving out to the Bidewee Motel until things settle down. And then Kathy takes her direction that she's been looking for. She's going to move back into Howie's apartment because the rent's paid there for at least a little while. But she's been looking for some kind of direction, and earlier this week she was thinking Barbara Walters was someone that she looked up to. And this scene ends on a dark note with Martha suggesting, I think in a joking way, or at least a TV joking way, that they take up a suicide pact. And George is not too sure. That tone is going to change a couple of scenes later. But before then, we're with the Haggers, who start with recapping their story, right? Letting go of JD. JD still lives with them. And we know that Loretta feels like he can stay with them, and we know that Charlie feels like he needs to leave for his own good. JD seems content to be in this home right now, at least as far as we can tell. But the real crux of this scene is that the Haggers want to talk to Dennis Foley. Something that happened last time Dennis was in their home was that JD really liked him. And I wonder if that means that, kind of like when a TV show has a dog that likes a character, that means good things about that character. That when JD likes Dennis, like he did here, that means that the character is a good person in some way. So the take, you've heard, if you've watched any of these episodes, then you know my take on Dennis is fairly negative. That's not to say that I don't think that he is sincere. He says things that I believe, or he believes, are true, that he loves Mary and he doesn't want anyone to be hurt. I just remember earlier in the series generally believing that Dennis didn't care how anyone else's feelings mattered. Like the way he treated Kathy was fairly hurtful, even if he was not doing it in the intent to hurt Kathy. If Mary and Dennis end up happily together, which is a question, right? If they end up happily together, what does that mean for Tom? And that's a scene that we explore here too. But what does that mean for Tom if his wife leaves him? Dennis talks his way through it, and Loretta and Charlie, they feel like they were ineffective in this conversation. Clearly, Dennis is going to do what Dennis wants to do. He always has done that, and apparently he will continue to do that. It just feels like this impulse in Dennis that he calls love, that may be love, if we trust JD to be a good judge of human character, he might actually really love Mary. But if all he cares about is his own feelings and Mary's feelings, that's really selfish. I just don't sit with it. And then our Capri Lounge scene, which is kind of our party scene where we see varying points of view. As I said, the flavors of these story arcs are starting to cross over and take on each other, flavors of the other scenes, right? So like, we haven't seen Tiny since the plant blew up, but apparently he's still working there, and Tiny and Charlie have each loaned George some money, and they come to the understanding that George has quit at the factory. And then Merle walks in. So we have all of these different things going on, and they sort of touch base about the presidency and that Merle is not going to run, but Merle wants to avoid talking about that. However, Merle is the one who took in the television from the Shumway household. That was kind of alone as well. Then Tom comes in, and he's surprised to find out that George lost his job or quit his job. And then George comes in, and he has a buyer that's coming in tomorrow that potentially will be giving him a check for $1 million for the bug gun. So that could be good. And, well, this scene ends with some chaos. We need some chaos every once in a while in this show, as Mac comes in to let out his anger at George for taking back his own wife into his life. That's a bit unreasonable if you ask me. I know emotions are not reasonable, but that's what Mac seems to be working on. Complete rage and pain. And then we have a scene that surprised me, and that is to say, every time we've seen Tom this week at least, he seems to be making some effort toward making an impression on Mary, because he knows that Dennis has made an impression on Mary, and he can't figure out why. Dennis doesn't even come up in this scene. I mean, he was in the last two scenes as a presence, but he is not a topic of conversation here. This is really a scene about Tom and Mary. I think it's a really sweet gesture. He's done a lot of gestures this week. I feel like their love languages may not be the same, though. Because, or maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong, because Mary has taken Dennis's very strange gestures in a positive way, but in this case, she seems uncomfortable at every turn. You know, they start to romance each other, right? They do the kissing, the making out bit, but then they're interrupted by room service, which was fairly abrupt. You know, typically room service is something you ask for, and I guess that means that Tom asks for room service before finding out if Mary wanted it, and he paid a violinist to play a song. Every step of the way, things just turn Mary off, which is sad, because it isn't intended to. Tom really wants to be making a positive impression in Mary's life, and the thing that turns it around in a negative way is when Mary takes over the serving, right? She takes that over, and maybe Tom needs to let go a little bit of the feeling that Mary should take a rest. She clearly doesn't want to. She, as we have seen over this last year and a half, has been a person that she really feels the need to be of service. And in this case, she sends the server out, and she sends out the musician. And for some reason, Tom gets angry at that. And that's a bit icky. You know, we know that they have strain in their relationship. I wish it weren't so negative. Because honestly, this was a lovely gesture, even if it went awkwardly. I don't know if there are better things to be doing. When we've seen them try to talk, it's failed. And I don't know what needs to be said. Like, we haven't heard Mary say what she wants. She's been very unclear about what she wants. She has accepted that when Dennis did this heinous thing of lying to her elaborately, she takes that as a compliment. And when Tom does this fairly polite, reasonable invite, right? When Tom plans this trip for them, it's just awkward. And I don't really understand that, because Tom is doing his best to be romantic, and maybe it's this question, right? Because last week, Mary kind of felt like she loved Dennis more than Tom. And I wonder if that's the difference. So that's all I've got to say about this episode. I nearly forgot to record the entry for Kathy Shumway's list of lovers, and we're doing a couple today, which repeats one of the ones that we heard yesterday, because after Kathy came back in season 2, she was not with us for a couple of weeks, I think, but when Kathy came back in season 2, her first visit to Mary, she had a secret, which was that she was pregnant. And it wasn't because that was too soon. So it was one of the men that she slept with before. We never really found out that answer. But while she was looking, she went back to Clete Meisenheimer. And that was maybe where we found out that their ideas on relationships were not the same. In fact, I'm sure that that's where that happened. They broke off their relationship, and then Loretta, in order to keep up the expense of having a child, decides to get involved with the Adamses. And that's the next family to talk about, or the next person to talk about, Brian and Christine Adams, who essentially paid Loretta to have their child. And we can talk about the ethics of that. In this case, the way that the show presented it was that the Adamses were buying Kathy's baby, and we know that people can get paid money for the adoption process that goes towards rent and childbirthing expenses, etc. But in this case, they were bringing Kathy into their home, and the Adamses were a very wealthy family that kind of owned the factory. Towards the middle of this run here, Brian definitely formed some make-out style attractions with Kathy. They didn't necessarily call themselves boyfriend and girlfriend, and certainly Brian was married to Christine at the time, but there was certainly some stuff going on there. And, well, I'm not going to say how it ends, but maybe you'll see some stuff if you want to go back and review. After that was over and resolved, and I won't tell you how that was resolved. If you haven't been watching, just go back and watch. Kathy is introduced to Howie Freeze. So Howie Freeze was the next boyfriend, and the thing with them is they ended up living together for quite a while. And they have their own dynamic. Howie Freeze was a radio DJ who wanted to be an investigative journalist, who was inspired by folks like Edward R. Murrow. And he was investigating that group that we know as the GGG. And I'm not going to say what happens there. I guess we'll have to take a look at some of the key moments of Howie Freeze. So everyone, that was our episode of Mary Hartman, and our Thursday entry in Kathy Shumway's list of lovers. Thank you so much for watching with me. Thank you so much for leaving your thoughts, feelings, and impressions down in the comments. Thank you for taking the time to process, and we will see you tomorrow night in Fernwood.